like catheterize myself until it took 6 to 12 weeks for the medicine to wear completely off for me to be able to use the bathroom properly. And
so what syndrome is this called?
It was the overactive bladder and bladder pain syndrome.
Okay. This is Ron Uncut with Shop. We are about to go on air in about 3 minutes, but I just want to introduce my guest, which is Lady 215. She goes by the name of Neek. How old are you?
45.
She's 45 years old. She'll be bringing music and health. She explained, this is co-host Tyra. How you doing, Tyra's here today. You know, I just want to give y'all a little insight on what's going on. This is Neek, and she's 29.
I'm 45.
45. She look like she don't look like she 45, y'all. Black don't crack. Look at it. So she's going to be talking about, tell them, this about the syndrome. Real quick.
Bladder pain syndrome, overactive bladder, and weight loss. My weight loss journey.
Okay. So you was explaining what kind of surgery you got before we go
on. Basically, I had to get a bladder stimulator put in because of, dealing with the bladder pain syndrome and the overactive bladder. It makes you have to go to the bathroom frequently, like often, and you don't sleep well because you constantly have to go to the bathroom maybe every 10, 15 minutes. And it's like diabetics, go to the bathroom often or whatever, and determine on, how yours work. You get bladder leaking and things of that nature when it comes down to these things with dealing with your bladder. And when it came down to mine, I ended up having to get a device put in called a bladder stimulator because the different medicines I had tried wasn't really working for me. And I had a bladder stimulator from 2017 up until just last March. I had it removed because it wasn't working for me anymore, and now I'm trying new medicines. I had tried Botox injections, and it wasn't really working for me. It kind of paralyzed my bladder to the point where I couldn't use the bathroom properly at all. It was. I couldn't really use the bathroom properly at all until it took 6 to 12 weeks for the medicine to wear off for me to be able to use the bathroom properly on my own. And I just started new medicine, so I'm trying to figure out, next steps from here. To try the new medicine and see how it works, and then go from there. And pretty much, so far, so good.
All right. Welcome to Jumpin' 215, Rolling and Cover Top. We are here today on this beautiful Tuesday, June the 30th, which is my son's birthday. Happy 17th birthday, son.
Happy birthday.
Yes, and it's really special to me to talk about this because you know how young kids are really like passing away like flies, like really. So I'm just happy that it seemed like I'm doing something right because I've kept them safe this long. But everybody that's tuning in today to jump into the fire on the cut, I would like to thank y'all, all the TikTokers, all the Instagrams, all the Jumping 215 Before Radio, all the DJs, all of our followers and stuff like that. But today, I want to start with my co-host, people should know why we're here today. I just want her to, welcome herself because I haven't seen you. It seemed like forever.
Hey everyone, hi. I'm just here, ready to interview
Yes. So, Lady 215, how you doing?
I'm good.
Man, let me just wrong because of chocolate from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I just want to thank you for giving me, Ron a Couple Chuck, this opportunity to have you here in front of me, which I've seen you before. You was with your other lady, Neff, 215, but she was like, I'm shy. I'm not used to talking like this. She told me she was a little nervous today. So they told me to take it easy on you, and I am. I kind of did that pre-interview on you earlier today because when I can't get out of you, I kind of got my questions already answered already.
Okay.
and I know that this is going to be a good step. You showed me some pictures of you on your journey from 2000 and what?
15.
From 2015, talking like
15.
that's how nerdy she is. Talking to him. Relax, baby. I ain't gonna bite you. I know I could be a little crazy sometimes. But on the cover track, like I said, we from Phillies, but I thank everybody for tuning in. We are here with our special guest, which is Neek, Lady 215. Other tag team person is Neff, which is other 215. And I'm kind of shocked that you're not here with us today. She told me, like, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to make it. My girl gonna step in, and I want to commend you for that because with you being shy, I would have looked at y'all a little different. It's like, no, man, because y'all came through a lot of times. Y'all came to my fish fry. I'd like to thank y'all for that. Show me support, on birthday. I'm going to give you balloons and a cake and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. You don't even get some of that stuff from people that say they love you like that. So to meet y'all less than a year ago, which I have seen y'all before, you know, and like I said, if you look at
we try to show love and support everybody. You're part of the team, you're part of the family, so we try to show love and support and try to be there so you feel the love and support from us.
I felt the love, I did. So let's start. You're here today to talk about music, right? So we're going to go with health. You get the pick. You want to talk about health first or music first?
We can talk about health first.
Okay, we'll talk about health first. Let's talk about your journey. Okay, tell me the experience that you've been experiencing, and I'm going to chime in because I've been doing my research on what you told me about, and I'm going to just jump in here to the opinion. All right, so let's go. We started all. Dun, 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 dun. Go ahead, let's go. And talk to me.
So I've always been on the heavier side growing up. I've always, been thicker, and as I got older, I got heavier, and then I had, a child. And I got even heavier when I was in high school. I was like wearing a 22 wide. I got bullied. I got picked on in high school because I was on the heavier side. And as I got older, I didn't know that diabetes ran on my dad's side. And you got the big boned, side of the family, and it's not always about, you overeating or, you being greedy and stuff like that,
You had to make sure you said that.
Yes,
What made you
because everybody automatically assume when you on the heavier side is because you overeat or because you eat too much, and it's not always the case. It just it might run in your family. And it's all about, it's hereditary, it runs on the family dynamic. So it's not always about you not eating right or you not eating healthy. It can be just in your family dynamics for you to be big. And as I got older, in my 20s, mid-20s, I started having issues with knees and my back and, short-winded, struggling getting up steps and stuff like that. So as I got a little bit older and I got heavier, I found myself in the 300 range, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, this is not getting it. Then I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I started on metformin and all that, and I'm just like, something gotta give. Yeah, something gotta give. So, I went to the doctors and we discussed, the weight loss surgery because it was like fairly new around that time. And we talked about the gastric sleeve because I knew that I didn't want to do the gastric bypass because I had heard so many bad things about, the reactions and the things that people was going through after having that. So I knew that I didn't want to do that. So we discussed it for some time and I decided to do the gastric sleeve. I did the gastric sleeve and that was pretty good for a while. But what they don't tell you is if you have other medical things, like I also deal with overactive thyroids. And with me dealing with overactive thyroids, my weight fluctuates. I got diagnosed with that later on after, but they don't tell you that if you don't stay on your food preparations and there's certain things that you don't do, like 3 to 5 years after you have surgery, you will start to regain if you don't continue on managing your food properly, or if you have, other things going on with your health that can cause you to regain. And for me, because because I dealt with GERD, like reflux issues and things like that. It caused me, and my thyroid, it caused me to regain. So that was a struggle for me because of me not being able to keep my food down. And then when it was time for me to eat, you might overeat because you're not getting enough food in your body and stuff like that. And with the thyroid, it make your weight fluctuate. So that was always a battle with me once I got diagnosed with that. So that messes with your weight. So then I turned to injections. So I was doing the Wegovy for a while and made me sick out all the time. It's for diabetes, but it also helps with weight management. And I was nauseous and sick off of it all the time. So I ended up going from the Wegovy to a shot called Zepbound. It's also for diabetes, but they also use it for weight management as well. And it kind of sort of helped me stay balanced with my weight so that I don't go above or go below, a certain point with also me having hyperactive thyroid.
So this is why I'm gonna cut the check. I would like to thank you because guess what? For you to be so nervous and it's your first time, you definitely explained this right, baby. You can be a support group person for somebody because there's a lot of people who go through things, but to say this, you are really young to go through that. So you're a soldier in my life. You understand? To go through that person. Do you have anything to say, Tom? Any questions to ask about that part?
That's basically my question. What was the drug that you did? The injection you did?
Zepbound.
Zepbound. I never heard of that.
Because I have to speak. This is rolling a cup with y'all. I noticed that it's a Alethi or something like that. Is it
Ozempic.
Ozempic.
Excuse me. It's like
So this is rolling a cup with y'all, and I know somebody who actually takes that, right? But I think that they told me if they forget to take it, they'll have them throwing up and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there just looking like, what the, like, wait. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, but the person that do they are they a diabetic? Because that's what the medication is for. So you're not a diabetic, I'm quite sure you're gonna go through some things that you probably.
Okay, so I don't know if they are diabetic. I didn't check that part. But okay, so
because a lot of people, well, I don't know for sure, but I'm hearing that a lot of people are using it to lose weight. But if you're not a diabetic, then that's not, I feel like you shouldn't be taking it.
So that's just basically like, let's talk about this on the cover chart. It's like birth control pills. Birth control pills are used for different things, right? So okay, let's talk about that. You use birth control pills for fibroids, and some people use it to regulate their immunity and stuff. So it makes sense then.
Right.
A lot of people use different things for different things, but like Neek said, Lady 215 said, you have to be careful because having other underlying conditions will have it acting out of whack. So that was a little confusing. So what did you choose to do after that? Like how long were you going through what you was going through before you decided to actually get it? And when you got it, were you scared? And then tell me, how was the recovery process? So after you got it done?
For what?
When you got the sleeve done, what was the aftermath of it? Okay, let's talk
recovery
about
time.
Yes,
like 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
For the recovery time, and you actually supposed to get up like the day after surgery and start walking and start moving around, so that you don't get blood clots. So every day you get up, you walk around a little bit more, so that you don't get blood clots or your blood can stay flowing. Because if you don't, you get blood clots. You can end up with a blood clot in your lungs.
Yes.
You can get a pulmonary embolism like that. So you're supposed to get up and start moving around like away. So other than that, it took some time because your stomach is sore and you heal on the outside first before you heal. It take you longer to heal on the inside than it do on the outside. But it was a journey. But yeah, I was scared because anytime you go under it's a fear of something happening. We watch things on TV, or we might have family members or friends that things might have happened to. So anytime you're going under the knife or you're going into surgery, you got to be put to sleep. There is always a fear. But for me, I'd rather had did it so that I can be here rather than not do it and then something else happen. So I did it for health purposes so that I can be here.
You look good. You really do. Because I seen the picture that you showed me. You look good, and you were pretty heavy. So the question is also, this one color shot might not get a little ghetto with it. So if you had to see anybody that ever teased you before, have you ever seen anybody actually tease you before?
I have, and I really didn't have nothing for them because.
Did they know it was you? Is my point.
No.
Okay, so that's my point. So how did they know it was you? Did you stare them down?
It was just like I'm a speaker. If I see somebody that I know, I'm going to speak. How you doing? And they looking like.
So you walked up like it's sarcasm a little bit. I'm just being honest, like hi.
I mean, it's just like how you doing, and they just like.
Who you?
And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, oh my God, you look so nice, and I'm just like, thank you.
And you ain't say, yeah, B, I remember you.
No, because that's just not who I am. I like to kill people with kindness, because I'm not going to give you what you gave me. You get what I'm saying? You don't get your blessings like that. So I'm going to be who I am for real, but I'm not going to give you the energy that you gave me, because it's like, what am I going to get out of that? So I'm just going to be who I am.
My turn back. What you mean? Like, no,
I'm just going to be who I am, and you can have that, because at the end of the day, I'm going to stay true to me.
Well, this is wrong with y'all. I've always been kind of thin all my life, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, and I never really went through that. But I went through like being dark, but they really didn't play with me like that. Like I said, maybe the people that we was close to, little Mike, working on little chocolate bars, to say little stuff, but I never really got teased because I would be behind, to be honest. And overall, when people teased you back then, growing a couple times, it was really out of being funny, like roasting you type. So I commend you for not like matching the energy because of the age you are. I would have matched that energy back then. But like I said, I kind of bullied people a little bit back then, but it was like they was a little extra too. So I didn't just like bully them. Like you was a little with it. They was with it too. But I just will say this: I apologize to anybody I ever kind of been mean to or whatever, but I still let them know it is what it is. I remember what I did to you. What we doing? I'm just saying. I gotta say that. Okay, so another thing is having children. How was that? Because you said during the time you was pregnant and stuff like this. So who helped you take care of the baby?
I had a big support system. My mom, my siblings, my family, my kids' dad. Like, I always had a big family. Everybody always, was around. So I never felt like I was, by myself or whatever, even, having kids at a young age. So I always had, a big support system. And, I was still home, still in school. I didn't drop out. I graduated and everything like that. But yeah, I always had a big support system.
So how do you feel that you could have been a cheerleader? Like you told me, I asked you about the music part. You was like, I was a cheerleader before, so you could have really been like the Eagles cheerleader or something like that.
Listen, it was something I just liked to be involved in activities. I did everything in school, softball, track, step team. I did it all just to have something to do and to have fun because I enjoyed the activities. So it wasn't like it was something that was forced. But what I have, went that far, absolutely not. Not as far as cheer. It wasn't really, my thing, but I enjoyed the drill team. Most definitely enjoyed that. I enjoyed the double dutch team. I enjoyed that and the traveling and stuff like that younger. And what else? And the softball was fun as well.
Okay. So this is Roman Color Job. What would you say to anybody? Because this is the thing to do, man. On Color Job, a lot of people are getting these Olympic shots. They are getting sleeves done. They are, I was seeing one thing on TV, Instagram, whatever. I mean, on Instagram coming in. The one lady said she stayed in the hospital.
Oh, yeah, I think
You
because
see
I
that?
know when you said that the girl ain't got 5 BBLs or something.
Yeah, so it was like she like, when you get these surgeries and stuff, you can't eat like you want to eat. And she like every time I turn around, I had to go to the hospital because I gained too much weight. So that's another thing I want to talk about. I see this.
So with the
Okay, this Neek from
the gastric bypass is the most serious surgery because you end up with having. I know a lot of people that ended up having a lot of complications with the gastric bypass. So you get dumping syndrome. Like if you try to overeat, it causes you to throw up
Yeah.
and things like that. It makes you really really sick when you try to overeat after you have
Sounds like
surgery.
anorexic. So how would you know you overeating? Like you will feel it?
Yeah, your stomach got start hurting really, really bad. It's like really, really bad. It feel like kind of sort of like if you was going through like really, really bad cramps, or like if you was having a baby or something like contractions. Like it get that bad, and you start to gag because it'll automatically make you feel like you have to throw up when you overeat. So you know that your stomach is
And
full.
you can't even eat a lot. It's like a baby.
So because when you first get it, when you drink, you literally drinking out of a medicine cup. That's how much fluid you allowed to take in, and that's it. And they tell you not to drink and eat at the same time.
Nugget.
So you can eat first, and then you supposed to wait a half an hour and then drink. Because if you don't, you get full so fast, and you're not getting enough, food into your system. But you also supposed to take, because once they cut that part of your stomach off, a lot of the vitamins and stuff that your body naturally make, you have to now put that back into your body. So it's a lot of different like B12 and vitamin C and vitamin D that you have to take every day once you get that surgery. Because once they remove that part of your stomach, your body is not naturally making those vitamins, so you have to take them on the daily. So you gotta kind of sort of space that stuff out. So you take your vitamins, then you wait for a while, and then you try to eat. Because if you don't, you'll probably get full off the vitamins. But everybody works different. Everybody's body works different. So it's like your stomach is the shape of a banana, so you can only intake but so much, and depending on how big your stomach is, because everybody's stomach is shaped differently. So whatever you intake, if depending on how full you get, how fast, that will depend on how much food you can take in. That's why they tell you to measure your intake of your meats, your vegetables, and your starches. You're supposed to eat less of than anything else.
Wow. Yeah, and that's really deep. So this one a couple of shots. I might go back and kind of talk about what you talked about. So if you are thinking about getting the surgery, the sleeve, and all the stuff that she just talked about, please just make sure that you don't like to eat a lot, because you can kill yourself like that basically. You understand? I have seen people I know or came in contact with where they had to go to the hospital, and I'm like, well, what happened? And he was like, well, she overate. What the hell? You can't eat like you want to eat. You eat one crab leg, one nugget, and two fries. That's basically the place that I used to see. I used to see that. And like she stated, Lady talking about stated, a lot of times people think that just because you big, you overeating, that's not cool to think like that, because it's not that. I knew somebody personally used to be as small as me, meaning really small, like back then, like 100 pounds, and now they were bigger because they were taking medication for asthma, which is the steroids or whatever. And I had to ask one day, like, damn, like, what happened? Not being, And then when you talked about the thyroids or whatever, the thyroids is when your eyes look like it's popping out your head.
That's another thyroid disease.
That's another thyroid. And I say that because I have to tell this story. This one couple of times. I was cool with these two girls or whatever. We probably still hard, but one of them was not. And she didn't let me. She used to invite me to her house because she didn't want to me see the other girl. What happened was, once I finally seen her, she had the thyroids and her eyes was like popping out like somebody squeezed their head. And my thing is, it really hurt me to think that y'all would think that I would even be like, you know what I mean? Like, or mean, or what happened to her? You know, like, that's basically how they made me feel. And I was just like, damn, am I really that person? Or, like, why would she think like that? But I'm not like that. But I have to say this, rest in peace to Jane. She was one of my coworkers when I worked at the halfway house. She had died real right, but that's when COVID was out. The COVID met, and she passed away. She was young. She was young. So Jane Sack, if anybody know her, rest in peace. That was my girl. She the only one that I know that got crazy one time at a Christmas party and got drunk and went to the white girl and said, "Why you keep messing with our men?" I swear to God, girl, I couldn't believe it. She got so drunk. But that's what it was, basically she was watching, that's what they go for. No judgment here, like I said, but you know what the guy told me too? And I know I'm maybe wrong for saying it. He said, girl, I asked him, I said, well, what's up with you? Like, he said, I'm just effing on him, having a good time. I would never wife him. I said, damn. But I'm just saying, and I was ready to say, well, you need to go tell her that because some people really do catch feelings about stuff like that. But I know I don't went around the board, ring around Rosie, but I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. If you thinking about getting that surgery done, don't do it if you know you like to eat and you're not gonna do right. Like I said, I know they're getting what is it, Olympic shots? Ozempic shot. I see it all on TV. Remember, sharing the shots and shit.
They just started doing shots because it was pills.
Oh, it was pills at first. I remember they was going to doctor. Remember they was going to doctor somebody.
Dr. Fisher.
Child, what's his name?
Dr. Fisher.
Yeah, like, and let me just say this. That wrong couple child. A lot of times, I wonder, do people lose the weight or they do these surgeries for them or they worrying about pleasing everybody else? Because it makes me think, if you want to do it for you, do it for you. But if you're doing it because or losing a weight, a lot of these meats, should I say, being honest, on the cover top, they like big girls. They like big girls. So, but don't kill yourself trying to get a man. I'm just being honest. To have a man look at you. That's my point too. So, what would you say to?
I agree, because some females have low self-esteem, and if they, like I said, was being bullied, or they feel like they don't get the attention that they're looking for, and they want to feel better about themselves, they decide to make changes to their body and stuff like that, so they can feel like they want it, or they feel like somebody is looking at them, or they get the attention that they need, and then they end up making themselves sick. You see all the people that did the butt injections or did different surgeries to their body, and now they sick and trying to get rid of it. So it's just like, like you said, you have to do these things for yourself and for your health, and make sure you researching these things before you do these things to their body, or you can lose your life.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, this wrong couple shots. And I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of the time, people used to use cocaine. They used to use cocaine and shit back in the day. Now they got these different shots and they getting real. Y'all know that, right? Use cocaine, snow coke, to lose weight, take the appetite. The reason I use it back in the day, bro, because I can always got a story to tell. And my Biggie Small voice say no. Yeah, say no. But I remember back in the day, I remember going to Bush Street Eddie's. We in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Bush Street Eddie's. They knocked it down. Takeover tried to do it and all that, but it wasn't that. But I remember this lady, she was like, yeah, I'm about to go get some. I said, all right, what you about to go get? She said, well, get it 20. I'm like, all right, here go my $10. I gave her the $10 or whatever, you know what I mean? But you don't want to go back in the bathroom. You used to meet the bathroom smoking all that shit. But she came back. I'm like, yeah, what's up with my half at? Girl. Then like she said, what, girl? I said, my weed. She said, oh, baby, I ain't did weed since I was, whatever she said. I had to let her keep it or whatever. But like I said, it was decent back then. Where they'll tell you what it is now. They'll let you smoke the shit. And next thing you know, you getting high. You know what I'm saying? But that's really like serious. People smoke weed first time when they get up in the morning. They take that craving away from eating. So a lot of times people got all types of ways and different things that they do to lose the weight. Some people don't eat. You know, I read up where a lot of times you shouldn't be eating all that different great stuff. You should be on a water diet for real. So, you know, I said I'm gonna try to do that water diet next week because, you know, I want to take a little couple, you know, around, you know, the size. But let me ask you a question. Well, Tyra, this was your question. Can I ask you a question or no? Because I want to let something you ask. She asked the question was, why how long did you wait when you start seeing the weight come on? How long did you wait to do something about it?
I was well in my 30s.
So why did you wait so long?
Because like I said, back then they didn't have like all the surgeries and stuff. Like I did the gym, you know, I was always active. Like I said, you know, I was on the drill team, double dutch team. It wasn't like I was lazy or I
So
didn't
when
do
did it
nothing.
creep up? Around what age did it creep up that weight? When did it
Once
creep up on
I
you?
was in high school, like once I was in high school, you know, I started putting on the weight and I just kept getting heavier and heavier as you know I got older. And like I said, I did the gym. I did diets after trying all different kinds of diets, and nothing never happened for me. So it was just like, you know, once I started hearing about, you know, the surgery and stuff like that was once I got into my adult years, is when I got into my early 30s. So that was why I waited so long, because back then, all those things that's going on now wasn't going on.
And when you say all the things going on, what you
Like
mean?
the surgery,
okay,
the shots, and the pills and everything, they wasn't doing all that back then.
So do you think that a lot of people are taking the easy way out nowadays? They just saying, fuck it, I'm not gonna go to the gym anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the surgery done. Do you think that people are just being lazy, not
I could
putting
say
in the work?
some. I could say some. I can't say that for everybody, but some possibly
It's your
can
opinion,
be.
it's asking.
Some possibly can be, but I'm not gonna say everybody think like that. But I can say
So what
some
percentage, if you had to give a percentage out of 100, what percentage you would say people just lazy, they don't want to do the work, they just want the body?
I feel like they don't want to. I feel like
This
they
is
want
Tyra.
they want the body, but they don't want to do the work. I feel like they don't want to do the work because it takes a long time for the results. But if you do it and you put your mind to it, I feel like you'll get to that goal.
And then that's true, Tyra, because I feel like with all the TikToks and the Instagram, you need to just you want it anyway to do a journey. You understand?
And then TikTok, they have a lot of people really do the exercise. You can do the exercise when they come in at a certain time, and you can watch them on TikTok and do what they do. But you know, sometimes people just don't want to work it.
And this is all the coach. I just want to thank you for getting through that question and sharing everything, especially with the TikTokers and the Instagram people, and especially the people that know you. Actually, that's sitting here listening to you, the ones that speaking rowdy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But sometimes we need to talk about this kind of stuff because a lot of women suffer in silence, whether y'all know it or not. A lot of people want to wear this dress that I got on. You understand what I'm saying? Even though I had to say on that. Sometimes, people want to be us. I'm sorry to say, they want to wear that dress or something. I remember, and I'm just going to be honest, shout out to my girl Niecy. Her name, she was Niecy and I was Nikki. One day my mom went and got me a ring, supposed to say Niecy. She going to put N-E-K-Y, like Lord Jesus. So we used to laugh. I'm Nikki. I'm Nikki and she Niecy. Well, anyway, my girl wound up losing weight. That's back in the day when they was using the waist trainers. My girl had the bodysuit on. It was like a half John. And when I tell you something else, she lost that weight. She looked awesome. And it's been a long time. She looks good. But my point I'm trying to make is, I remember one time we was together, right? Years and years. My best friend. Well, she said, Shiny. She called me Shiny. I'm like, what's up? She like, do you notice something different? She smiling. I'm like, smiling. And I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to hurry up and get it. So she like, Shiny, you don't. I'm like, what, girl? What is it? She said, you don't see I'm folding my legs. Something so small. She was able to do was fold her legs like this. Just like this. Some people can't fold their legs. When you overweight like this, it's the little things. So, I had to bring it up today because it's the small things. that people don't understand what people go through. Have you ever, and this is the question, man, honest, and it's up to you if you want to answer, because like I said, when I talk about stuff like this, it's your choice. Have you ever became depressed behind it?
Yes, I went through depression behind it because I noticed, I was young, so it was a lot of things that I couldn't do because I got tired fast, or I was out of breath, and I was got drained easier. So it's like a lot of things that my friends was doing I couldn't do. I felt like I couldn't do because it took a lot out of me because I was heavier.
The people used to be like, you just being lazy and fat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to hear about stuff like that.
I mean, they call you fat, they call you lazy, but they don't understand that the toll that the weight put on your body, especially when you have a smaller stature. Like when you short and you heavier, the weight put a lot on your body. So like I had issues with my knees now. I have arthritis. I'm 45 years old. I have arthritis. I've had arthritis since 26, and it's gotten worse as I got older. And when you heavier and you dealing with those things, your body be in pain, but they feel like you just be complaining. You too young to be complaining. You just being lazy. You just being this and you being that, but you not knowing that you really be in pain.
So who was your support system that really understood what you were going through, if it was anybody? Because it might have been anybody. Did you suffer in silence sometimes? Even though you may have had support system, was it just times when I don't want to shut down. I don't want no pity pop party. I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me because
within myself. I beat my own self up. Like I had a big support system with dealing with all the things that I went through, but for whatever reason, it was something within me that I think I stressed myself out because it was just like, you so young and you're going through all these things, and it's just like, I would, like, why me? Why do I have to deal with all these things? But it was just like, at the end of the day, I had to tell myself, you got a lot to live for, you got a lot going on. You don't let this beat you. You get what I'm saying? You got a lot of things that you want to do in life, so you got to get over it one step at a time. And with the support of my family and my friends, I got it together eventually.
So who was the main one that was very, very hard on you but helped you the most? And you can give up to 3 people. Names, and you don't need a shout out, big flowers.
It was more than 3 people.
All right, well, say them all then. Go ahead, girl. No, really, because
my big support system was always, Neff, my kids, Black, um, my kids' bonus mom, my stepmom. Well, my bonus mom, I ain't stepping on her, so I don't call her stepmom. I call her my bonus mom.
Who you say bonus my aunt's kids? You said bonus baby moms.
The kids bonus mom.
Yeah, my kids bonus mom. Yeah. So it's like, family. The family in general, just like was there every day, every step of the way, and they wouldn't let me fall into that depression, and they pushed me. They cried with me, and they made sure, that I didn't stay there. They gave me my moment, but they made sure that I didn't stay there.
And when you were going through your moment, what does that moment look like? You said, just regroup, like, and I get it, but what does that look like? So if anybody that's listening here can actually...
You take your moment, you take your breather, whether it's music that gets you through, or a conversation with somebody, or whether it's reading, or just sitting in silence, or whether you need to cry, or go to therapy, because I did it all. I went to therapy. I had conversations with family members. I like to sit in the dark room and listen to music. Everything helped. Everything played a part, and I got it together, and that's how I did it.
And I just want to say, Ms. Roman, I commend you, for even coming in here to tell your story, because a lot of times, this be somebody's first time coming, telling their stories. Like, everybody I kind of get is always the first time. Never been on a podcast before, they never told their story, and I want to thank you because, they go watch Baddies and all these other different shows and watch this script shit. You understand? I ain't mad at them, but it's real right here. And people are out there dying, killing themselves just to have a fit body, and that's crazy to me. But guess what? It's really not crazy to me because if I never been through it, then how would I know what they're feeling? Some people will do anything just to get that body or down pounds. Because you said you came from 300, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many pounds are you making?
I'm at 175.
Yes. Wow. So, I just want to talk about the music part. I heard you say just a couple minutes ago that, it could have been music. It could have been anything. So when you talk about music, how did the music help you? Or what kind of? Because you just told me you like oldies.
Yeah, I like oldies.
And
I like
oldies
old
are
school
meaningful.
music. Yes,
Yeah.
I've always felt like that the older version of music always had a meaning to it. You understood what they were talking about. I feel like the music now, you'd be like, what are they talking about? But the music from back in the day, you got a meaning from it, an understanding from it. You can connect to it. And, that's how I got through a lot of different things. And like I said, music was always in the household. Music was always around. And that was one thing that, used to get us through, you know, the good times, the bad times. And, when you out at a black, yeah, when you get in a black family house, you always hear some kind of music playing, but the oldies was always, I was always around, and I got more into listening to different genres of music as I got older, and I met Black and started being around Fat Cat and Levi and all them, as I got older.
I know I seen them, because Tyra said Fat Cat is one of hers too. So I got it. I mean, I seen it right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I see, let me tell you something. You see some of the stuff I be putting in the group chat, right? So the whole time I be hearing heavy hitters, I be hearing, what's that little ball, heavy hitters in the hit spot. So a lot of times I just put up something where I was there and I know their faces, but I mean, I know that. So the question that I have to ask you now is, we talked about also the marriage piece, right? I have to talk about this, and I'm gonna turn this around so I can talk about TikTok. We're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we like to kind of keep it real. Y'all know about the Philly stuff. So one of my questions is music, right? You said that was around Black all the years, and you decided to, you know, kind of be into music, and he inspired you to do the Lady 215. But my thing is this: say you've been with somebody in the industry, and we gotta go into who it is, and I'm just wrong with y'all. I'm trying to spice it up the best that I can, but you've been with somebody in the industry for a while, right? And Lady 215, and I have to talk about this, put up there when I asked about getting the DJ wives together, and she tagged your name, I have to say this, she tagged your name, and now I asked you, are you married? And you said no. And then you told me the reason why is your choice that you didn't want to get married. Because you brought up something that made a lot of sense. You said you like old songs. This is what made me bring this up now. You like old songs, but you said growing up is a reason why you never wanted to get married. And tell me why.
Like I said, for me, I feel like a piece of paper don't determine for me, the dynamics of your love for somebody or the love that somebody had for you. Is just a piece of paper for to me. It don't determine how that person feel about you. They're not gonna love you no more or no less whether y'all have that piece of paper or not. Y'all know what y'all have, and that's not for nobody else to understand but y'all. I feel like also a lot of people get married to put on a show for other people. It don't always be genuine, but again, it's like, all right, I gotta do this to show everybody else, but it don't be
for love.
It don't always be just for the love. It's like, all right, it's like putting on a show. I'm gonna spend my life savings on this wedding, and then I feel like also at the end of the day, if we know what we got, like I said, it's not for nobody else to understand. I don't feel like I have nothing to prove to nobody. I know what we have, and that piece of paper is not going to determine what we have together, whether we have it or whether we don't. I know what it have it or whether we don't. I know what it is.
are you still being loved out loud?
Absolutely.
I want to ask a question too. How long have you with your person?
Okay, good question.
Girl, you ain't gotta think that
Over
long.
20 something years.
20 something years.
Over 20 years. So did y'all build anything together?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And she like, yeah, like you just see her face, y'all. She like, yeah, I think it is.
So this is rolling cut. This is rolling cut with Chuck and I have to talk about this. So I have my girl in the building, and one of the questions prior to was I have a DJ wife coming up, and she was added to, the text I guess stating, and then I realized that she wasn't actually married, but she said that don't mean nothing because it's not a piece of paper. But you gotta share with them. I don't know. You don't have to share this piece.
Well, I feel like everybody feels different when it comes to marriage. Because she feel like a marriage don't define her relationship. But somebody else might want to be in a marriage. So you can't. So I feel like everybody has their opinion. That your person, do you want to get married or you just feel how you feel?
Okay, good question, girlfriend.
Well, it ain't never really been, an issue or, cause, no conflict. So we are where we are.
So do you have a propose to you or anything like that or no?
Yeah.
And what was your answer no?
No. But it was
You just said no, period? Just no?
No. I didn't say that. I said no.
Oh,
I'm just saying, like,
you explained to him how you felt about marriage. Okay. You want me to explain to the world how you feel about marriage?
You can.
Well, you can do it.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I don't feel like a piece of paper should determine or force you to do something that you feel like you don't want to do or justify, how you feel about, somebody else. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't want to get married and the other person don't want to get married, or
so y'all both
it's like so if y'all both have an understanding with each other and y'all cool with what y'all have, why should it be an issue with anybody else to push something that y'all are okay with where y'all at?
Okay, so
this is Tyra.
So y'all made an agreement that neither one of y'all wanted to get married because what if you did want to get married and he proposed to you and you all just had a conversation?
Then when that time comes, then that'll be something that we'll discuss.
So you will change your mind one day about marriage, you say?
I don't know. That would be something that we would have to discuss.
So what freaked you out that bad? This wrong couple shotgun. What freaked you out that bad that you don't want to, that you feel like that? And like I said, your twist is always a.
Everybody opinion.
For me, from what I've seen growing up, a lot of the people that I've seen get married or whatever, I noticed that the dynamics of their relationship changed.
Yeah, I have seen that.
And I noticed that, after like 3 to 5 years, the marriage is over. So it's just like, no. I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying from what I've seen, from what I've witnessed, from what I've been around, I feel like, once you could be with somebody for 15 years and then they end up getting married and then the whole dynamics of their relationship end up changing, and then after a certain amount of time, then their whole relationship, once that shift happens, they can't get it back on track, and then within 3 to 5 years, they're not even together no more. So it's like, I feel from my experience growing up, being around, the difference of, you spending 20 years or 30 years or however many years with somebody, and then y'all end up getting married, and then the whole dynamics of your relationship change once y'all get married.
So are you scared that if you get married, that's going to be your situation?
No, it's not that I'm scared. I just feel like, I enjoy and I like the dynamics of, where I am. And I just feel like I don't want, that for, where I am. And if there's a change that I decide to make one day, then it will be. But right now, that's just not what I want.
And you know what, Lady 215 makes a lot of sense to me, baby. But all I'm gonna say is, and this wrong couple talk, y'all know how I get. You gotta make sure you got some shit in writing, or make sure that anything y'all built together, that it goes to you. Because like I told you before, when we talked off the camera, I said that they can put it in a will. So even if the person is married to somebody, a person can set up a will or something, you still won't get shit. So let's just keep it 100. You know, a lot of times people act like, even when I talk about with people that I know is married, a lot of times I see how they be looking at me sometimes. Bitch, I'm just trying to keep it 100 with you. Or bro, I'm trying to keep it 100 with you. I just don't want you to be looking with your ass in the breeze later on. I ain't trying to start no trouble with nobody, marriage or nothing like that. But I feel like, and it's just for me, I feel like every 5 years they should reevaluate, just like they do different things, you know, because sometimes, you know, people change over time.
People change.
You know,
people
and
fall
then,
out of love. There's a lot of things.
oh, go ahead, because you married, girlfriend. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what you say, people.
I mean, sometimes people change. Sometimes people fall out of love with each other. You know, conversations not being held. You're not communicating. So things do happen. But I feel like if you're in a relationship for 20 years, well, I'm not saying go get married because marriage is not for everyone. But if y'all have business or something together, just make sure you cool if something happens. That's it.
Because I see you got your spotless church, your business shirt on, you ain't everything. So I know. But at the end of the day, I like the fact that both of y'all, Tyra and Lady 215, this is y'all childhood sweetheart. You know, so hopefully they still love y'all like a childhood sweetheart. Because I feel like, you know, it's just for me. The world that we living in today, they'll do you like they never knew you. And I'm not saying it is all, but this is wrong to go talk. I have to say that sometimes. You know, I had a good marriage, you know. Like I said, it was perfect to me. But that one little thing, and I'm so crazy that my love turned off for certain things. So certain things I cannot put up with. And my number one thing was, if a motherfucker come back and tell me something that you should have told me and I find out, bitch, you know. And that's it. I don't care how much I like you, love you. I cry every day, but bitch, I did. And we have to love ourselves like that. You know, God, first and foremost, that's what's missing in a lot of these relationships and marriages because guess what? They take a hold on the God. But I still feel like, as you said before, maybe people just do things for show. And I want you to elaborate a little bit more on when you say for show. Some people
make
do
it, make people, I can't say.
Okay, Tyler,
people make it look good in front of people, but inside the walls when you're together, it's a lose.
Y'all don't even like each other, probably.
Right.
So it's like one of these things they talk about the COVID. Back in the day, the COVID was missing. A lot of marriages broke up in the COVID time because half the time they were working from Monday to Friday. Every other weekend they was working, and then next thing you know, they gotta work from home now. You know, and y'all both look at each other and don't even like each other.
Right.
Like that was a thing, and I'm not saying to be smart is wrong to go with y'all.
They said that though.
Go ahead. What they say though?
They did say that a lot of people did break up on COVID time, even celebrities.
Yeah, because half the time you don't even like them. So I want you to explain a little bit more when you say, because you be around.
Yeah, I agree with what she said. It's like, I just feel like, at
This
times,
lady 215.
like she said, the conversations that need to be had is not being had. And it's just like, y'all go out, and I don't even feel like weddings have to be all extra and extravagant. It's like a union between you and your significant other is not for everybody else. A wedding is for you and your significant other. Yes, it's something that you want your family to be at, but I feel like that union is for you and your significant other to bind each other together, but it's not so much for everybody else, it's for y'all.
So this is wrong though, because I like what you said about that, and this is my last question for you, and this might take you a while to answer. Say, no, okay. That's wrong because you said to me that a lot of people be, acting like that they happy and then they're not happy, and then when people come around, people really know their real story, and then you told me this. You gotta have tough skin to mess with a DJ. That's it. That's it. You said you have to have tough skin. You said there's a lot of times you may have wanted to say something or may have wanted to check a situation, but you never did. you told me this special person had to kind of like stand up for you sometimes. So when you said that have, so you said that you gotta have tough skin. What do you mean by tough skin? What happens in the world?
I mean, all different types of things happen in the world. Like you might have, somebody say something to you in a way, or another guy say something to you in a way that they're not supposed to say something to you. And whether, it don't have to be particularly, somebody that you're dealing with, but if another man see a guy disrespecting a female, they're gonna step up and say something. You get what I'm saying? But when you doing business or you out here, you a business person, it's a certain way that you gotta be outside conducting yourself. So you can't be outside all ghetto and ratchet, being all loud. So you have to conduct yourself in a certain way and you gotta learn how to handle things in the proper way because, you a business owner and you out here doing things, so you have to handle things accordingly. So, you have to properly handle things. You can't be out here fighting and doing certain things because it affects, what you got going on.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. But this is where I'm gonna cut with y'all. So at the end of the day, do you go to certain events or do you just sit them out? Because I'm gonna just keep it real. This is where I'm gonna go with y'all. When I see you, you around. You around. And you watching.
Yeah, I try. We
Look,
try
and
to.
you're watching. I be seeing you.
We
You watch. You
we
pay
try to
attention.
support everybody. We try to get to as many. If I ain't working or we not working, we try to support as many events as we can. So we try to show everybody love and support everybody. So if we can get there, we there. Because we try to show everybody love and be there for everybody and support everybody that support us.
So as I said before, I still don't think I got my question kind of answered. When you say tough skin, I know you said certain things, certain conversations got to be had, but what are some things that certain DJ wives go through? And at the end, or wives, girlfriends, whatever it's called.
I'm not a DJ, right? But I'm quite sure females try to get with your husband.
Oh, okay.
I'm quite sure. So
I mean, in any industry, in any world, you dealing with somebody, you're going to have, people trying to step on your toes, or you're going to have people saying stuff or doing stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, you got to learn how to conduct yourself properly, and you got to learn how to handle your business the way you need to handle it and keep it moving.
So if you ever had to let somebody know that's mine.
No, I ain't never really
Oh,
had
cut
to.
that out, you better cut that out.
I mean, like I said, I handle myself accordingly, and I do what I need to do, and and I say what I need to say, and I keep it moving. But I don't, be out here acting all ghetto, and yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess y'all got a little bit more tough skin than me because it gets a little crazy in the field, and like you said,
crazy in the field. You just gotta know that you have to trust your person, and your person trusts you. So don't do nothing around your person. Don't do nothing that you wouldn't do if your person wasn't around. That's it. That's all. It's a respect thing.
well, she said she ain't married. I mean, ain't no ring on it. I'm just being honest. I mean, I get what she's saying, but I mean, we gotta keep it 100. Like, if they don't see no ring on their goddamn finger, he open arms. I'm not saying like that. Like, what you felt about that when that ring is? Because I don't know how deep you really can get. Just from my point of view, the hood in me. If you don't see no ring, they right like, well, what the, right? It's like fair game, Chaco.
Yeah, that's true. But then they might still bring it to each other out here.
I mean, that's true too. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say thank you, Lady 215, for giving your story today. We didn't throw you off too bad, right?
No.
Okay, everything fine. We ain't go too far. We ain't go too deep. We kept it cute, right? Yes, because let me tell you something. Well, we're on the cover chat. I'm never trying to humiliate anybody. I'm never trying to get inside anybody's business, but know that people have questions about certain things. I'm just gonna keep it real. I had somebody else kind of like drop out of the DJ wives, and whatever story they gave me. I feel it's the least scared. At the end of the day, nobody's here to humiliate or be in anybody's business. But at the end of the day, we know that in order to, you know,
shit happens.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have to be afraid to ever sit down. And I have to say this with wrong a couple of chops, but at the end of the day, you gotta be able to stand up for yourself. You know, be able to speak for you, because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, and Beyonce said it first. You got to have your own mind. You have to have your own stuff going on, your own hobbies, your own friends. You know, because when you always just with your person all the time, and then you know who are you? And then you start getting with your girlfriends or somebody else, lady to a party, bills and shit, and they wonder, oh, she used to be home, or he used to this, he did it. Well, things change. So that's why I say, wrong a couple times, just make sure everybody know who they are and what they got going on. But guess what? When you can be with somebody, like I said, for so long, like you have been, and not be married, because let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be honest, wrong a couple times. I was with my ex-husband for like, we was together 18 years ago, but we was probably married probably like the last 6 or 7. You know what I mean? Like that. So it can happen, you know. And I remember him telling me one day, like, and I have to say this, and this may not be your story, but wrong couple times. He said I wasn't ready yet. And I asked him a little bit, like, what do you mean? And I think like a year later, and that's when it was. He proposed to me probably like twice or whatever. And then he was like, I messed it up the first time. I was fussing and shit because I don't like surprises like that. You understand? Like, what you doing? You acting weird. Like, you know, you're like, damn, yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe that wasn't meant for us to, you know. But like I said, at the end of the day, it gets really crazy at the end. You know, when somebody passed away, you know, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't even connected to him no more. I'm not saying to be smart, but I already know what I would have to go through with the family. You understand? So I made sure that, you know, everything was everything. But child, I don't know what I would have had to do if I had to plan that friend with myself and deal with them. They probably wouldn't even came. It was so crazy that his mother didn't even come to our wedding. Let me tell you how deep that shit can get. She apologized. Told me that she didn't know why I was getting with it. And that's another thing sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of times the in-laws, they may not be as bad as y'all think. They just don't know what's going on. The story was I took him from his baby mom. And that wasn't even true. What happened was I started dealing with him, but his kid was a little young. But we ain't gonna go into telling his business. Rest in peace to him now. But you know, and that's what that was the only man that I can say that knew me. The only man that truly loved me unconditionally. You wanna know why? Because his mother was an Aries, and he said mine. His mother was a mother though, you know what I mean? But she was a real one, and she was an Aries like me. We was like 13 days apart. But I thank God for her. Rest in peace, Miss Edith. I thank God for her because he knew how to handle me because of his mother, because the love he had for his mother. You know how that goes. Mother can't do no wrong shit, you know. But that was that. But I loved her for like telling me like, you know, like I'm sorry, and in front of the sister-in-law that thought she had it like that. She said it right in front of me. You know, I was like this. Yeah. So I was walking, doing a catwalk in the house and everything. All her friends was looking at me. Yeah, because I knew I wasn't no bad person. Because a lot of times people could put their taste in a person's mouth.
But I feel like people should be able to, I feel like people should be able to do that. Okay, we got an issue with a person. Let me see how that person is, and maybe they might be that way or they not. I can't go by with somebody or tell me about somebody.
That's true. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Jump Into 1-5 Rolling Cut. Thank you, Neek, for giving that beautiful testimony, that story. Thank you, Tyra, for doing it. And we will see y'all again on July the 3rd, which is Friday. So listen to Mr. Cloud 9. We have special guest Tangy May. Thank you. Enjoy yourself. I love you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I just want everybody to know that was an awesome segment. There's a lot of people that I know that's probably on here that probably feel like they want to go get that surgery done, and I get it, you know. But I just want y'all to know.
Recommend.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I just recommend you want to get the surgery done. Just do your research because you can't tell them what not to do. Just make sure you do your research and everything and get the surgery. If that's what you want to do what you need to do for you.
Yeah, and I would like to thank you, girlfriend, and like I said, rolling a cup with that. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all on Friday at 7 p.m.
Mr. Cobb now will be here. My special guest, Team G May, one of the comedians. We're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I want y'all to tune in. And then, we have Lady Sam coming. We just got a lot of stuff going on from the DJ. But I love you guys and thank you very much. Mwah. See you next time to my TikTok.